Are we in? We're in again. Welcome in. Glad you guys are here. Definitely glad you guys are here. You guys are definitely awesome. And for that, you guys deserve. Let's see if it works. A hand clap. A system, man. Sometimes it's a... Let me try this side. Let's put a drum roll. I don't hear it. What the heck? I don't hear it. You guys hear a drum roll? Clap. Don't hear it. I have to go before here and try this out. Why it's not coming out now the way it should. But anyways, out of that. Sorry about that. Anyways, I really shouldn't waste time and go into too much dialogue, but here's a little bit of a background. So we did the trimorphic of the trimorphic of the protea, or three forms of first thought. Woo! Feedback on that was, for the deep ones, they are loving it, saying, oh man, this really starts to align. It does. Why you start looking at things and wondering why people keep falling for states of certain things and then give it a name called God like it's the first part, and it never was. It was an emanation from something that came way after that which is the beginning. That which it all comes from. The emanations following from the monad, and for this fell from feminine and masculine principles ajar are really there, and that makes sense in a reality where everything is a feminine and masculine energy to the physical form of male and female. Skipping the oneness of, are you ready to take this in? Androgyny, where the two are one, even maybe pre-physical and physical. And then everything kind of to split off from there, because everything seems to divide in the lower principles of this reality, and it called it utter darkness, or darkness where even the voice became heavy. It even called it the underworld, and the underworld goes into Hades and hell and all that underworld stuff, right? Is to be honest. Let me see how much battery I got here. Am I still good? I am. I may plug in a little bit. Let's see if this plug-in even works from this, because this is not my plug-in. That's the wrong button. Let's see if this plug-in works. We're plugged in. So we're plugged in, and that's not even the battery for it. That's my phone plug-in, works on my computer. Man, us old folks in the technology age, or us older folks. Somebody sent me money. You're really 63? I'm 64 in roughly a month. Yeah, in March. Yeah, and then I had some people say, you don't look it. I've been told that before, but I am. Born in 1962, was waking up with a heavy hand of light in 93. Even before that, I had experience that told me I was awake. When I really look back on them, I didn't get it like I do now. But let's not talk about me, and let's get in part 2 of this book that is full of wealth, gold. And I'm talking about you exponentially, a lot of wisdom and knowledge of how this really works. Let's go. I know where we left off, too, if I can get there. We will go from where I left off. Let me get this part of the screen, which you guys probably see, but I'm not trying to... That is the measurable light. Let's see. I think we left off here. So we started with this. This is where we left off at. We have also left the visible world, since we are all saved by hidden wisdom, mediated by the infallible, immeasurable voice, and the one who is hidden within us pays a tribute of the fruit of the water of life. I believe that's light into light. Yes, this is the next aspect. I think I can read without the glasses. If I even make it a tad bit bigger, I think I'll be okay. It says, the Son is perfect in every respect. Period. He is the Word who originated through the voice. So it says the Son, this physical Son, S-U-N-S-O-N, originated through that voice. And that we ended with the voice here, right? And the hidden within us pays tribute, right? And above we talked about the voice of light within light, the immeasurable. So the Son is perfected through the voice. It was called the voice of the immeasurable, the infallible, earlier. Let me put this, just backing stuff up from the back. Got a little bit. Through the voice. Who came from on high, who was within him the name who is light. The Son revealed the everlasting. So the everlasting is something that was before the creation in the temporal, or the illusion of something, the temporal space of the physical. And all the unknown was known. All the unknown was known. Nothing is in this place of perfection is hidden because it's light. Who is light? He revealed what is hard to interpret and what is secret because he is light, right? He originated from the voice. He came from the high place, the place before the places. If you really start looking this deeper, Jesus never said he's God. Other people call him that. And the religion of the indoctrinated, the one that gave these things. Just like they told you the same thing about Mary Magdalene. They told you she was a prostitute, and for freaking how many hundreds of years did you believe that freaking story, which is not even written in any scripture? And then the Catholic Church comes out here in what, 2:16 says, oh, by the way, that was not true. 1,500 years later, 1,600, now you come and tell the truth. Yeah, you definitely aren't the higher place in the light. The Son revealed the everlasting, and all the unknown was known. He revealed what is hard to interpret and what is a secret. And he preached to those who live in silence with first thought. Remember, the silence, the secret, and all these things were really put in a place of the reality of infallible, right? They were called infallible, everlasting, that which held the all. First thought came, and he revealed himself to those who are where in darkness. And it's really revealing the light in darkness. Quit looking at him and himself in the outers as a man outside yourself. It's talking about you and that which is within you, revealing, who are in darkness. And he clarified himself to those in the abyss, the very darkness of darkness. Telling you this place is an abyss. That's why the criminals run the reality, and them who fake the fraud and keep dividing and feeding us propaganda, and we think the left and right are on our team, and we think religion's on our team. They're part of the abyss. To those in the hidden treasuries, if you remember, we went over the book that said the hidden treasuries were the treasuries of life. Do you remember that when we talked about the vesture of life, or the activated body of light? The hidden treasures, he told the infallible mysteries, and he taught unspeakable doctrines to those who became the children of light. They are being awakened to the same fragmentation that they are light, not just a physical body, and they were not sinners that need a redemption, all that dualistic, indoctrinated stuff. Let me just keep going on. Coming out and realizing the children of light. Real light. Not just oh yeah, it's good you're a child of light. Yeah. A reality. Just not a metaphysical or a thought or some belief system, but you are really light, protons, energy. Now the voice that came from my thought exists as three premises: the Father, the Mother, and the Son. Where was that left out at? We know that was in Christianity, of the indoctrinated Rome version, it was called the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But here it's giving you the real. This definitely shows you its ties to Kemet or Egypt, which it is. That's what it is. It's a connection to Kemet. Gnosticism is not a culture or a certain teaching of Christianity. Gnosticism. There's Buddhism that's Gnostic. Gnosticism means knowers. Them who find the light. They know, they don't believe. They're beyond believing. They've woken up out of belief. The Father, the Mother, and the Son. These three are the trinity of the connection of even family, right? It's connected. Isis, Ra, or Isis, and the Son, right? Being Ra, right? That form, and I don't got those names right in that. It's not coming to me right away. Watch this. The premises. One premise is the Father, Son, the Mother, and the Son. The voice is perceptible speech containing a word rich in every glory, meaning glory to glory to glory, meaning realm of knowledge, light of knowledge. In all realms has this association with this Father, Mother, and Son, of the connection of the three. It has three masculines, three powers, and three names. They are in the manner of the triad, three shapes, which are quadrangles, secretly in the silence of the infallible ones. The quadrangles. That's definitely something to look up. I will look up what that means and get back to you on it. In fact, let's not do that then. Let's do this now. I'll do it on my Boom. Quadrangles. Very interesting word. Quad we know is four, right? I know is four. Some of you may know what this means completely. Quad. Oh, here it is. Quadrangle meaning. Four-sided plane figure, especially a square. This is math. A square of a rectangle. So it's already given you geometry, if this is geometry, but definitely gives you a four-sided plane figure, especially a square or a rectangle. Okay? Okay. Definitely this would be building. This would be masonry. Definitely mason. Two in shapes and symbols. So it's telling you the name is what's connected. Secretly in silence of the infallible one. Secretly in silence. Notice the secret in silence. And then we talk about, what do we talk about? Secret societies. Secret societies. So let's look at this. He alone came into being, has the anointed him with the goodness of the glory of the invisible spirit, established these three alone in glory over the eternal realms in living water. Remember, out of your belly shall flow rivers of what? Living water. This is what it's talking, not really a river, a literal river. Glory surrounding him who first appeared to the light of the exalted eons and realms. This is that which flowed down, the eons and realms. He persists in light, and he stood in light surrounding him who is the eye of light, gloriously shining on me. He gave eons for the Father of all eons. Those are realms. The eons are some of the first, going into the eons. Hopefully it will explain it here, but the eons represent different realms. Like Sophia's an eon. This will explain it some. I thought of the Father, first thought. Barbello, the perfect glory. Barbello's the feminine aspect. The glory, she's also connected to the perfect glory and the immeasurable, invisible, hidden one. I am the image of the invisible spirit. Through me, all took shape. Notice all took shape went with what we talked about with earlier with the quadrangle, which is shape, right? Four-sided figure, especially a square and a rectangle. Shape. Let me get back to shape. Where's the shape at? Exalted eon, the thirst thought, Barbello, perfect glory. I am the image of the invisible spirit. Through me all took shape. You guys, shape also too is head, two arms, two legs, a shape. What shape is that? That would be, you're the shape of the, God, what is it called? God, Danny. Memory, man. I'll get back to it, but that's a shape. That's the pyramid. It's also the shape of Venus, connected to Venus, and I can't remember. I'll come back to it. It'll come to me. Barbello, the perfect glory, and the immeasurable, invisible, hidden one. I am the image of the invisible spirit. Through me all took shape. I am the mother as well as the light whom she appointed as virgin. She who is called Merothea, the intangible womb, the unrestrained in the unmeasurable voice. There's the unstrained, the woman, the womb, right? When then the perfect Son revealed himself to his eons, who came through him, he revealed the glorified and enthroned them, and stood in the glory made for him. They blessed the perfect Son, the anointed, the God who came into being by himself, and they gave glory, saying, He is God's Son. God's Son. He is the being of the eternal beings. He's the eternal being that conceived. For you have conceived by your own desire, so we will glorify you, Mamo. You are the O, you are the A, you are being the eternal realm of the eternal realms, the eternal realm he gave. For the God who conceived gave eternal realms, a power of life to them that rely on and be established. The eternal realms being established over the first Armedian, Nosanios, Harmozel, the second established over the second eternal realms. These are eternal realms. These are the copies that Yada-Baoth makes in the seven lower realms that are copycats of these realms. These are eternal realms. Those are temporal realms or fraudulent realms, right? That the archons see over that are fake fraud of these realms. Eternal realm, Planonis, Enois, Oriel. The third over the third realm, Meliphonius, Logos, Davithai. The fourth over the fourth, Masanois, Matthias, Eleth. Now those realms are the ones conceived by the God who was conceived, the anointed, and these realms gave glory. They were first to appear and exalted in through thought. Each eternal realm gave 10,000 glories in great unsearchable lights, for they are blessed the perfect Son, the God who was conceived. Then came the word from the great light Eleth and said, I am king, who is of the chaos, who is the underworld. And suddenly in light appeared, shining forth, given through afterthought, the powers of the powers, asking nothing of him. Suddenly there appeared a great demon who rules over the lower part of the underworld in chaos. He has no form or perfection, rather. He has the form of glory of those conceived in darkness. This is the Yadabaoth character. Now he's called Sakla Samuel Yadabaoth, for he took no power, who stole it away from the innocent Sophia. Originally he overpowered her. She is the light afterthought who descended, from whom the great demon came from the beginning. And we will stop there. So really what I was seeing in this, as you see the dissensions from the pureness of the first descent, right? The beginning, the infallibleness. But then you see this action that took place as this is sown into the greatness of all the sun that had all this majesty and had all the light. But there's a recognition of Eleth that there's another character out here. Where does this character come out? It's a darkness. It's chaos. It's the underworld. And it's Sakla. It's Samuel, which means no wisdom, no power, ignorance. And that's the lower realms of which, and he said, it's Yadabaoth, who stole the power from innocent Sophia. Notice it calls it innocent Sophia. And there's another realm that is like our realm, but I discern it is not our realm, and it's ignorant, and the signs for the higher realm is the ignorance, not created by us, a thief. Ignorant and a thief right away is acknowledged of in this text by Eleth, right? The last of the rulers of the eons from the lower created realms of higher light. They're recognizing something underneath it from chaos, and the lower realms is starting to come forth out of this. Then the wisdom comes forth. This is that which stole from Sophia, and it appears to be a copycat is the recognition. This would be that which is copycatting itself of everything that you've seen in dissension of the light, and descending from silence to the voice and first thought to all these aspects started in glory, and the mother, father, and child reunion, right, is only a heartbeat away. Wasn't that another song? Is being there, and all the intelligence and all the infallibleness of this light and established light in glory, and the creating of the eons over each realm over each eon, right, which is a type of realm. And as it goes over this, and then that 11th, and his name is Eleth, recognized something below him in the lower realm, and said, well, who's this cat and character I'm discerning and seeing? That ain't from. This isn't what was created from the higher realms. And then an acknowledgement of ignorant, Samuel. That's what's done. Sakla, ignorant, thievery, and Samuel, jealousy. The acknowledgement of these names actually, and then Yadabaoth, jealous and ignorant altogether, with these realms that were named, these eons that were named, and these eons that are named in the lower realm. When we get into this, and we'll read this on another one too, we'll do this separately, is it's showing, because this is a foundation in this book, which is not a long book, because this is the before first thought. The three forms of first thought is in the origins of the world, and in the secret book of John, which all this goes into even more depth how this happens. I was reading that secret book of John and seeing the thing where I was noticing in creation with this about this Yada-Baoth character and its falsehoods and its copycatting, faking the funk reality that it is. And you say what I mean. Doing something that when you're jealous and have no wisdom, but you think you're the only one not realizing there was a realm up before you, right? And then that higher realm created the lower realm in the story. It's the feminine aspect, Sophia, creating within herself without the feminine, the foundation of the masculine aspect of herself, of this, being in connection with it. And it's actually called in the book many times in the gossip, called the aborted reality or the aborted baby and the aborted children, which would be the jealous God. The jealous God, and those who know what the jealous God is, right? But the acknowledgement of seeing, okay, there's something happening here that's definitely not from this higher realm, and it called it from the underworld. It called it from the abyss, that it was the abyss aspect of this, that it was definitely chaos. And then as I was talking to my son today, he was saying, and he's going, yes, everything here is chaos. It's always blame it on them and blame it on them, but nobody comes together and then calls these people this, calls these people this. And every aspect of division is in open order, that everything on this lower realm wants to always have a division, and then the division has a blame. It's always them that are doing it, and then the them, or like, I'm not the them you're talking about. They may have the same skin tone as me, but I'm definitely not them because they have riches and power, and I'm just like you, working a 40-40 job, 40 years for 40 hours a week to be as poor as I was, never to get any stable ground of having riches, in a reality that you have to earn money in the land of the shadow of the valley of death, because you have to earn money. Earn is where you put, when you burn up a body and you burn up a dead body, right? You cremate a body and you put it in an urn, right? And we have a job and we earn money, meaning the very story of this lower realm speaks of only one aspect: death and division and carnage and wars and wars and wars and energy, and that's a whole different story. So I find it very interesting. We're going to go back and just read a little bit more, not much more, because I think we'll save it. I want to keep this around the 30-minute mark, and we're getting close to that now. So let's just go back, and I just wanted to kind of go over what I was seeing and see what you thought, and we'll kind of read that again, some of that again, but also get to the beginning of something we're seeing here that's coming out of this thought process, right? So he said, originally overpowered her. She is the light afterthought who descended. Notice, she had descended from whom the great demon came from the beginning, which is talking about that. After the thought, the light knew the great demon had begged Elith for another order. Though he was lower than afterthought, and she said, give me another order so that you may be a place for me to live, so I will not fall into this endless disorder. So really, this is Sophia asking, since I really went down to the lowest order to create this lowest demon of the underworld, let me abide in your higher realm, but it's above this lower realm. Because I got to get my way back up, but I got to get to a place, because I don't want to keep descending with my aborted baby of lower consciousness and this, right? And the order of the entire glory agreed with her. She was blessed, and the higher order yielded to her, brought her in for protection. So she's not descending at this point. She's in restoration mode, because she had to be in restoration mode because she created something out of order, because she was in order with her wisdom to create it. Now the great demon beginning to make eons in the likeness of the real eternal realm. This is the fraudulent of what this whole order of this realm is, of Yada-Baoth, the jealous God, Samael, right? He's creating always things out of order. He's a copycat, but it's not the real thing. Always a copycat. Always trying to create something, but it ain't the real something. It's a likeness, but not it. This is a continuous something that you'll see in the stories, that if you look outside yourself, you'll see. It's undeniable when you awaken to your gnosis. This is how this lower realm works. This is a story about what we see outside of the physical realm. So the demon began to create in the likeness of the real eternal realms. He has no knowledge of eternal realms. He has no knowledge what the eternal realms are, the higher realms. So he doesn't likeness to create a sabotage, a fakeness, to create a fake real, but also to, because he's so ignorant and so ego-based, right? He's the jealous God. We know us in spirituality that have woken up. Jealousy's a low vibration. So if this God's a low vibration, what is he? This is why we got to understand these gods were created in lower realms, and we think they're the all. That's the hijack, part of the hijack in the belief systems that I speak about. It ain't about a belief system. You believe this. You believe what you believe in modern Christianity, all these modern religions. In that Old Testament, Yahweh, or Yada-Baoth, the jealous God, the ignorant God, the lack of wisdom, right? And the likeness, except he produced them out of his own power, and he doesn't really have power because it's not coming from, his power was within his mother, the feminine aspect. She got refuge to be restored in a realm above this, the bottom of the greater realms. I too revealed my voice secretly saying, stop, stop. You who walk on matter, look, I'm coming down to the world of mortals for my portion that was there from time when the innocent Sophia was conquered. So he's saying he conquered his mother, the wisdom. But he really may have got some light, but he has no wisdom. He really doesn't have the father aspect of it. Almost like he's an aborted baby, almost like a type of single mother with a single son who don't get daddy principles, because that's just a type in foreshadow. But we're looking at this spiritually, metaphysically. She describes so that I might counter their plan. What? Innocent Sophia. She descended so that I might counter their plans, which was determined by the one who reveals himself through her. Everyone in the house of the ignorant light was disturbed, and the abyss trembled. Notice it calls it the ignorant light, no knowledge. They do not have, that's why it was jealous God. It's jealous of you because you come from the realm they don't have. They're just a copycatting it. Just a copycat. The chief creator of ignorance reigned over chaos and the underworld, sounds like a demon of the underworld, and produced a human being in my likeness. And he just really, I got one in my likeness. But he didn't know that this creation would be a decree of annulment, nor did he recognize the power in him. This is like being a mad scientist. You don't recognize what you're dealing with. You don't know that there's an aspect that you have that you don't know any wisdom, that aspect is actually wisdom of Sophia, and you're just the mad doctor in the mad room. You're the Dr. Frankenstein creating a monster, your reality. I am their father, and I shall tell you utterly infallible and unspeakable mystery. I tore off from you the bonds and broke the chains of the underworld demons. The same restraints that bound me, I overthrew the high walls of darkness. I broke the secure gates of the pitless ones and smashed their bars. And I spoke of the evil force and the one who beats and harms you. The tyrant, the adversary, the king, the real enemy. I informed all who are mine, who are the children of the light, to nullify the enemies and be free of the bonds. I am the first who descended for the portion, and we'll stop at this for the second descent. We'll do that. For what was left behind, the spirit and soul who came from the water of life and the immersion of the mysteries. I spoke, and the archon's authority spoke. I went under their language and spoke my mysteries to my own. This is really talking about Sophia integrating them as an agent to bring the light to the creation. A hidden mystery, and the bonds of eternal oblivion were nullified, meaning this is the work I had to do. When she got secured, she's going in to breathe life into them and be the light of them who have light. That he's Yada-Baoth thinking he's creating his own because he doesn't have, he's just, there's no wisdom in anything he does. Even he had the whole abyss trembling from him because they kind of know he's kind of not really that, but he has power over them. I spoke of the mysteries of my own, the hidden mysteries, and the bonds of eternal oblivion were nullified. I bore the fruit in them, the thought of unchanging eternal realms, and my house and their Father. And I went down to those were mine from the first, and reached them and broke their strands and enslaved them. That every one in my shone I made a pattern for those lights that are infallibly in me. And we will start. Let's go ahead and go out of here. I know we're over 30 minutes now. Definitely, yeah, we're at 35, so I'm going to keep it there. This was the second part of this. So you're seeing the beginning. I'm going to keep it that were the emanations of first thought to the descent in the human. But there's also another descent. This descent that we've seen now is the descent of this Yadabaoth and his archons settling in, going to make false levels of the heavens a copycat that's not real, because he's not real, and the fact that he's the ignorant one, the jealous one, the lower frequency one, the great pretender. I was going to make a video called The Great Pretender, like that song in the past. Isn't there a song called The Great Pretender by Sam Cooke or somebody in the past, which would be that. But this is what religion worships. I'm just going to close with that. Why we're going the next descent, because the next descent's the creation of humans through this process, and goes, and he's going to try to do Dr. Frankenstein stuff, because this is where I believe this is where Dr. Frankenstein come from, and the mad scientist, the ignorant scientist. But what comes from that, with Sophia kicking it with Elith in the lowest of the higher realms, is restoration, but also taking her agency to what helped the humans by what she does. But we'll get into that when we do. Let's go out. Have a great day.